These internet streets are treacherous. You see what they did to Just Hilarious? How you get fired on your day off? You know what I'm saying? Why they fired Just? Well, they slow fired her. You know what I'm saying? They fired her on the day off, man. That's cold-hearted, man. You know, cold-hearted, Breakfast Club. That iHeart. All iHeart does is distribute it, right? I don't know. It's tough times, Johnson. Tough times. Tough times to be a mediocre comedian. Yo. 5150 in the house. Yo, so we doing this back again. If you're new to the show, I want to let you know this is a political news show. We cover politics, black culture, and breaking news. Not necessarily in that order, but that's what we do here. And we've been having a lot of fun because it's a lot going on, and there's always something new to talk about. So we cover a wide range of topics. Tonight's topics are unfiltered and uncut, exposing political idiots, media gaslighting, and more right here on the Tim Black Show. That's what we're doing on the Thursday as we gear up to do our thing. And I'm trying to tell you folks, it is a pleasure, right? To have an opportunity, man. I don't think you understand. Like, you know, this is what I choose to do. I love doing my job, man. I love this business. I said I love this business, man. I get a privilege. This is a privilege to do this. You know, I dream about stories and content and thumbnails and titles of shows and coming up with new methods to get, awareness on the show. I love this, man. It's got its drawbacks. Sometimes I want to slam my head in the car door, but that's only like 3 times a week. You know, it doesn't happen that frequently. You know? And most of the time I don't, but there's times, But you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to thank everybody who's in the Tim Black Wolfpack, who joined us there or who's joined us on YouTube, because you keep the lights on in this place. Make no mistake about it. That's what it is. And if you're interested in supporting independent media, but not out of charity, man, because I'm gonna kick them in the throat tonight. And it's hard for me. I'm 50 now. It's hard for me to get my foot up that high to kick them in their throat. But I'm gonna do it for you, man. You understand what I gotta do? I gotta brace myself. When I was 20, I just kick you in the throat. Hey, I'd relive some of the Kung Fu movies me and my brother used to emulate on Saturday mornings, man. Hit you all up in here. All up in here. Ask my older brother Eugene. He left home early. He came back. I say, man, I've been learning Kung Fu. I must have been like 13. Gene was 20, right? He didn't respect my gangster. He didn't respect me, y'all. He thought I was playing. I said, nah, man, I'm gonna take a taekwondo and Kung Fu, man. I gotta teach and everything, man. It was his brother, young brother, man, teaching me real talk. He didn't trust me, man. He didn't think I was real. He's like, he said, well, come on, show me what you got. I was like, man, I don't want to hurt you, bro. So now I'm 13 telling my 20-year-old big old brother that I don't want to hurt him. And that hurt his ego. He was like, come on, man. You ain't gonna hurt me. Come on, do your best. He put up his dukes. I did a windmill kick on his ass. I did that reverse kick like I'm here, but I turned all the way around and swung that leg and kick out. Got him right in the nose, Johnson. He fell down, Johnson. His pride was all on the ground. He on the ground. His pride laying next to him like, why you do this to us? Why you let your little brother kick your ass? See, my brother ran track. He did not box. He did not take martial arts. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, I'm about to do that spin kick for y'all. Not in real life, because that would be painful. But I'm talking about against the political establishment. I'm about to get him. Yeah, I'm about to get him. They're asking for it, Johnson. Yeah, man. So look, man, I'm gonna get things started, man. I got a lot of clips, so let me just get going. Welcome to the Tim Black Show, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. And just tonight's goal is 400 likes. 400 likes. That $400, 400 likes. Likes are free. You know? And it's not for bragging rights. I don't care about them. My mama love me. My wife love me. My kids love me. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed. But this is for the algorithm. The algorithm don't love nobody. That's what I'm saying. So I gotta let the algorithm know, with your help, that this show is, doing what it needs to do, that you like the show. And when you engage, when you comment, when you like, when you share X, when you share X, come on, X people, share this out for me, please. It helps the algorithm know that this is a good show and this is worth sharing. It's an important indicator that this is a show what people need to know about. So if you would do that, guys, while you do that, I'm going to get off into the show. I'm going to get it started, man. Give it up one more time for my squad. We have the meats. All right. So I got so many topics for tonight. We're going to start off with the Department of Education. Donald Trump wrote an executive order dismantling the Department of Education. And of course, there has been lots of talk about this. Yeah. Now, if you've been on the show, you know I had my guests on the show. Dr. Musa Abdullah from All Things Education, a therapist and a teacher, a scholar. He teaches kids. He's been doing this for over 25 years. He came on the show and we discussed the Department of Education, possibilities of being dismantled and what that would mean to teachers and students. He's a teacher out of New York City. He came here. Guys, go find him at All Things Education and find our whopping 2.5, I don't know. It was over 2-hour conversation about a number of things, and the main topic was education. Find that on my channel. It did pretty well, too, on the algorithm, man. Y'all, I want to give it up for people that watched it already. If you watched it, go rewatch it because it is more pertinent than ever. Let's go.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Good looking people here. Should I do this?
Yeah,
I think so. Maybe this week is special class. It was very lucky. I signed another document that turned out to be very good for the country, and I said, let's use that same pen. I don't know, is anybody superstitious? Ron, are you superstitious? Let's use that same pen.
You know what I find interesting about this off the top is that the kids, they didn't run out screaming that the devil's here. Yeah, nobody ran out screaming that the devil's here. I remember when Trump got elected, I was walking the little kids to the bus stop. They were like in first and second grade. And walking the kids, and I remember at the bus stop, there were kids already there with their parents, and I remember the kids were talking amongst themselves, and some of the black kids, I could overhear them talking about the election that just taken place. And one of them said, "We in trouble." The other one said, "For what?" He said, Trump is president. And the other kid said, so he said, Trump gonna bring back slavery. And it was confusing because these were white kids. Now, these are black kids saying that. Yeah, these are black kids who watch MSNBC. They probably watch Joy Reid. Matter of fact, we'll be covering Joy Reid later in the broadcast.
Can you come up just to say? Very important, big factor here. Good luck, sir.
That's Hillary Clinton. He gave Hillary a job, man. Trump is a good sport. I ain't know he had it in him. Putting the pettiness aside and doing it for the country. Get out of here. They Hillary Clinton. Oh, cackles. That ain't Hillary? Oh, that ain't Hillary. That's some other old white lady. Okay, my bad. They look the same. I couldn't tell. Honest mistake. Joy Behar.
Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all. And it sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it. And everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right, and I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them. But everybody knows it's right, and we have to get our children educated. We're not doing well with the world of education in this country, and we haven't for a long time.
For every public school teacher.
Let's pause right there, man. Before we get into the people complaining about it, I just want to point out that it really doesn't matter what we hear them say about it, about the benefits of it, though. We'll talk about that later. There are going to be a lot of people that are upset about this because it's Trump. Yeah, because Trump's doing it. And there's no way, Lucifer could do anything positive because by definition, Lucifer hates fun. And he hates progress. And he hates helping people. And he hates people. And that's sort of like been the mantra over the last 10 years by cable news media. So, they're not going to go and break script now. I mean, the only time the Democrats or the liberals give Trump any love is when he was dropping bombs. That's the only time he got any good press. It's when he went to war. Yeah, when he sent tanks in and dropped bombs. That was it. For one time. No matter what else he does, no matter what else he's done, it's always bad in their eyes. Once again, and there are people that don't even know what the Department of Education does, but to clear it up for you, it will be Elizabeth Warren who's going to tell you exactly why this is a bad idea and why the Department of Education is so necessary. Because she's a wealth of information. She's not a partisan hack. She's serious. She's doing this for the people. Watch.
In this country, and we haven't for a long time.
For every public school teacher, every public school librarian, every administrator, every school bus driver, everybody who helps educate our kids, you need to know this is the moment we got to stick together and we got to fight back.
It's like she didn't talk to any of these people that she talked to. Well, any of the people that she mentioned. Because I don't think bus drivers give a damn about the Department of Education. I got a feeling the cafeteria workers, the custodial workers, the teachers, nobody, the resource monitors, the principals, the assistant principals. I don't think those people, I don't know. I had an educator on the show and his words, and I'm just going to go by what he said. He said he never met a teacher that, liked the Department of Education. other than sending those big ass student loan bills, that most people have no real, true understanding of what the Department of Education does. But I'm sure, since she's saying we all need to form Voltron and fight back, now we gotta fight back. Come on, everybody. We gotta fight back against Donald Trump. We gotta all band together. Now more than ever. I know she's gonna give us a reason, right? Right? Okay, let's go. I'm jumping the gun. Let's see what her rationale is for the fight.
Here, if you are a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, a libertarian, a vegetarian, we need you in this fight. This is the fight for an America where it's not just rich kids who get an education and have a chance to build something with their lives.
Oh, so she's saying if you without the Department of Education, all the schools shut down, huh? I don't think that's being honest. Yeah, I don't think that's an accurate descriptor of what's going to happen. Like, they haven't fleshed it out. You know what I'm saying? Hasn't been fleshed out exactly how this is going to look. And if I had any criticism of Trump, which I do, believe it or not, I do, it's that this is like, it's like my background. You're in the dark. No one knows what this really means totally. Like, it's not very clear. Get what I'm saying? But neither is what this woman is cackling on about. Yeah, I think the Democrats are programmed to say, fight. We got to fight. We got to fight. Democrats let a fight when they have no power. Then when they get power, they go, we can't do that because our people on our team don't want to vote the way we want them to vote. Well, why don't you go beat their ass? No, we can't do that. Got to be civil. Can't fight them. Got to work together. I thought you said you like fighting. Yeah, that's only when someone else is winning and we can't do anything to stop them, so then we want to fight. What? It makes sense. There's more money in it that way. It's more money.
But that every kid in America gets the best education they can so they can build the best lives. But
yeah, I was under the impression, like based on my research, fam, I can't see how the Department of Education really impacts the local school districts, like the schools where the kids go. Yeah, I don't see it. I was really hoping that Elizabeth Warren would tell us, because she's not telling us anything.
The only way that's going to happen is if we stay in this fight. It is a fight we can win.
She used fight several times, but she never told us why to fight. She did. She just said, hey, we need to fight. You got to fight. Fight, fight, fight. I don't know. I felt like I was back in school and I was about to watch a fight, on the hill behind the school. Fight, 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 fight. Like, there's no reason, no justification, just the word fight. What's sad about it is that there are Democrats, I'm sure, hopefully not in my audience, not my people, hopefully not, that are so slow that that's all people have to tell you is, you need to fight. You just run outside and fight. And that's how people get bullet holes in them. That's how people get knocked out, like who got knocked out? Big Tiny. Rest in peace. That's how you get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? That's how DJ, he got knocked out. He got knocked out. That's who it was. Yeah, so just fighting for fighting's sake is never a good look. And if you're a Black American, if you Black, and I want to specify Black American, right? You know better than just fighting to be fighting, Because there's a place called jail, and it applies to all things. Why do they need us to fight? What? There's things we should fight. We should fight our jobs being taken by people that just got here yesterday. We should fight the resources that are leaving our communities, that are going to people that did not pay into the pot. There's a lot of things we should fight. We should fight bad water, bad air. We should fight our money being sent overseas to drop bombs on other people's babies. We should fight a whole list of things. But fighting while building in D.C., At least it's different for me. I live in Maryland. I used to work in DC all the time, so at least I walk by the Department of Education. Some of you, if you live, I don't know, in Buffalo, you ain't never even seen the Department of Education. Why should you fight somebody for a building that's in DC that ain't got nothing to do with your school that's up the block? See, I think we got people that are losing their minds because people told them to lose their minds. And they got other people in their life that don't know anything or don't look up anything, who have been just gaslit into doing stuff, and then will talk smack to you and berate you and smear you with no facts at all. All based on what they saw somebody say on TV. Folks, this next video is going to say what I'm saying, but it's going to be a white lady saying it, and maybe then it'll make sense or maybe then some people that believe the white ice is always colder, maybe then you'll listen. Because when I was saying it, people, I went crazy. He crazy black man, two crazy black men on Tim Black channel said it. Maybe we can't take it serious. Here goes random white ladies telling you exactly what I just said. 3 weeks after I said it with my friend Dr. Musa Abdullah.
It's the fight for an America where it's not just rich kids who get an education and have a chance to build something with their lives, but that every kid in America gets the best education they can so they can build the best lives. But the only way that's going to happen is if we stay in this fight. It is a fight we can win.
The biggest concern is all the opportunity gaps that the federal government provides through the Department of Education. The federal education role is limited. There's no, except for, the Department of Defense schools, which are not run from the Department of Education, or the Bureau of Indian Affairs schools that are not run by the Department of Education. It doesn't control any schools. In fact, it's the states that control schools. So if President Trump doesn't like what's happening in education, it's the states and local school boards that do it.
Next.
See, she slipped up and said that. See, that wasn't her intention. She's saying, why close it? It's not like the things you want fixed will be fixed by shutting down the Department of Education. See, this is when people get real smart, but they're so smart they're stupid. See, there's one thing that the Department of Education does that the schools don't do. And that thing is waste a whole lot of damn money. That's what they do. See, the Department of Education, they allocate money by the budget. The money is not generated by the Department of Education. Oh no, the money is in the budget, okay? For some reason, the money is given to the Department of Education, and then the Department of Education takes money off the top of the money, and they put it in their pocket, and they hold conventions, and they hire staff, lots of staff, people making copies of papers no one's going to read, databases that no one searches. Then they decide, how much do we want to send to the states? I mean, after we got our cut, of course. In fact, prior to 1978, there was no Department of Education. As people have reminded me, it was President Jimmy Carter who established this organization, this agency. Prior to that, there was no Department of Education. And it's not like with the advent of Department of Education, suddenly education got better. Because as the lady said, accidentally, because that's not what she was there for, it doesn't really affect the schools. But what it affects is the money. It affects the money, baby. Now, let me add a couple things here. No other sitting president has ever succeeded in dismantling the Department of Education to an extent, but no other president made it a policy goal, a clear central policy goal, documented intent to do anything about the Department of Education. The concept's been a conservative talking point since the department's inception. That's right, folks. Reagan wanted to dismantle it. Bush wanted to dismantle it. Okay? Every Republican president wanted this to happen. They all thought the states control the schools. The states have the schools in the states, and the local cities and towns control the schools. Why do we have a Department of Education over its top of the local entities? People are going to say stuff like, well, they're going to be able to discriminate in the state level. Folks, the same laws that apply, the same constitutional rights that we have with the Department of Education in play, they're not written around the Department of Education. You can't discriminate against people because that's in the Constitution. It's a civil right. They do not supersede the civil rights that we have in the country. So the idea that, oh, well, without the Department of Education, they're gonna go back to segregating schools. This is bogus. That's still against the law. Trump can't change laws. In fact, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even sure this is gonna stick, baby. Yeah, I was talking to Mrs. Black about it, and I was explaining how I see it and what I've researched, what I've uncovered. And I ended it by saying, but you know what? It's likely this will be challenged in court, and we'll see what happens. But this is something that Trump ran on doing, and he's trying it. Similar to Biden, who said, we're going to reduce all this student debt. You know, they're still kicking his case down out of the courts. I just saw a ruling this week that blocked Joe Biden's dismissal of student loan debt. It was ruled an overreach, that he had overreached, that he had used his powers indiscriminately and had crossed the barrier of what his powers were meant for. But no one's talking about it like, oh, Biden, he thought he was a dictator. He thought he was trying to rule the world. If I ruled the world, all the girls, I love them, baby. Nah, he tried. So it's just a very hypocritical system that we have. We have cable news media that doesn't report the truth. And this is not a new concept. Like I stated, many others have tried to have voiced it. They just never went through with it. And it says here that it was stalled by congressional resistance and the practical challenges of redistributing programs like the Title I and IDEA funding, which enjoy bipartisan support. So this is only done through executive order. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Folks, I encourage you to go watch my segment with Dr. Musa Abdullah from All Things Education. In my humble opinion, from what I've researched, it appears that America looked around and said, hey, we can make money off this. Yeah, all this is a lot of money in education. We should get some at the federal level. That's all I see. In the money that we allocate out of the budget, why not just send it directly to the states? And to my people that are doubting that this makes any sense, think logically for a minute. If you worked or if you had a business, would you want your money to go to an intermediary before it came to you? Or would you like your money to go straight from the source to your pocket? I just got an email today from my school, my grandbaby's school, that wants us to chip in and gave us a link to donate to her class, kindergarten class, for supplies. Our school's underfunded. Some of that money that we are missing in the schools go to big salaries in DC for people that have no impact on your school at all. Is that we're going to stop the money from coming to the state? Have you ever tried to find someone at the Department of Education? Do you know how big that bureaucracy is? People act like, well, if I got a problem, at least I know where to go. If you had a problem, you go right up to your school because your school's right there. What, you going to travel to D.C. from Milwaukee? You're going to walk to D.C. from Alabama? How you getting to D.C., man? Please. You're going to your local or your state to deal with it there. Why all the redundancy? So people can make money. We say we live in a capitalistic society. You know, they try to make money off everything. But for some reason, I got people that don't believe that America's trying to make money off your education needlessly. That doesn't help you. We know we try to make money on everything else, from healthcare to freaking war. But for some reason, we got morons who think, oh, there's no way they try to make money off schools. I rest my case. Look, guys, hit the like button on this segment. We're going to move on to the next segment. Folks, there is no one watching this show, I believe, that doesn't want the best for the kids. These are talking points made up by people that hate other people. I believe that my people value education and value their kids' futures. We do not need an intermediary. We do not need a go-through man. We do not need a plug. Well, actually, the plug is the federal government. We don't need to go through the distributor. We go right to the plug. All right, that's all I'm saying. And some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Another's phone a friend. All right, guys. I had to go Avon Box in on that, man. To get my point on. Next.
Of Education or the Bureau of Indian Affairs schools that are not run by the Department of Education. It doesn't control any schools. In fact, it's the states that control schools. So if President Trump doesn't like what's happening in education, it's the...
Hey, that's probably why her face is stone. Look at I forget the sister who's sitting here. Look how her face is frozen. She looks like Christopher Walken's his little sister, doesn't she? She's got stone face, man. Goodness gracious. She's like, what the hell is this woman talking about? Don't you know we want to keep the school over? We got donor money. We be washing money through them schools. You dumbass. What is she talking about? This idiot, this moron. Why is she booked her? Who booked her? I'm firing you immediately for booking this woman on my program. Or something like that.
States and local school boards that do it.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I thought this polling was interesting. This is whether Democrats should work with the GOP or stop the Republican agenda. But what I want you to look at here is how this has changed. And back in 2017, 74% of Democrats said they should work with the GOP. Now, 57% say they should stop the Republican agenda. There has been a complete shift in the mindset of the Democratic Party. They want resistance.
You know, and you know what, guys? And I believe that's part of the reason why they've been doing all the stuff they've been doing. You know, they've been, Maxine Waters outside talking about, let us in hard. Why? I just want to go in and talk to people. You know, she was harassing that poor security guard out there. Whole bunch of Democrats who normally wouldn't bring their ass to HUD. Department of Housing and Urban Development, all of a sudden showed up with a hit of steam because they want the show. See, that's the thing, folks. Look, man, you want the Democrats to do something to earn your vote? Okay, I get it. It's a little late for this with Trump. There was nothing they could do, except incite violence, because they don't control anything to do anything. You know, they just don't. So everything now is theater. It's actually a horrible place to be in, a horrible position where you got to make it look like you're doing something when you ain't doing nothing. You ever had to do that on your job? Where you had to act like you're doing something? Boss walks up, you know, you're sitting there chilling, you watching the game, or you're on your phone, and they walk. Yeah, I was just looking for you over here trying to figure this stuff out over here. I'm over here busy, trying to work it out. That's what every person in the Democratic Congress is doing right now. They're trying to make it look like they earning their keep. And you are the boss. That's right. So when Jasmine Crockett and AOC and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and Ayanna Pressley and Jamal Bowman, no, not Jamal Bowman, but everybody else I named, Chuck Schumer, all of them, every single last one of the Democrats, whether you like them or dislike them or hate them or whatever you think about them, they're all trying to make it look like they're doing something. And all of them want to out-pretend the other because they want to keep their jobs. Okay? That's what it is. So, this polling is driving a lot of the foolishness. But at the end of the day, what good is all the performing if it doesn't change anything? No one has to listen to them. No one has to be concerned.
They want a tea party.
100%. And what you just said, we should listen to the people. You said as a congressman, am I correct in saying
That's
that you
correct.
just said we should listen to the people? Why aren't they listening to the people?
And everybody who's talking, all the talking heads who allowed the Democrats to suck for 4 years has suddenly developed in a sense of urgency to be like, why aren't we getting things done? We got to get things done. We got to push the Democrats. And every Democrat who was sitting back chilling on the beach, the political beach, just chilling in the sun with that weird thing above their head, above their chins, with a little bit of stuff on their nose. I don't know what it is. I'm not white, so I don't know what it is, but I've always seen the whites with the thing. Oh, with tight ass swim trunks on, looking like they want to go to a nudist camp instead of a beach, a public beach. But that's how all the Democrats were looking just 6 months ago. Where was Kerry Champion and all the other Democrat mouthpieces on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all corporate media? Where were they with a sense of urgency then when they had the ball? Yeah, everybody's looking for a turnover when the other guys got the ball. Everyone's talking a big game when they're not in the fight. Yeah, that's what the Democrats are. They're a bunch of wolf ticket selling jackasses. They're the guy. Look, when they were in the field, when they had the ball, when the Democratic Party was in power, it's sort of like that's when you meet somebody after school, man, and both of y'all standing there. That's your time to fight. You're after school, you ain't in school, you off school grounds. Can't nobody get suspended. Democrats got other things to do. Oh, I'm not going to fight you. It's better things to do. Let's just go, we're going to go have a party at Kamala's house. D.L. Hooker's going to tell some jokes. And we're going to watch a little Jimmy Kimmel and listen to jokes about Trump for the next 4 years. That's what they were on. Meanwhile, we're going to open up the border. Someone left the gate open at the border. We're not going to worry about this stuff. We're the civilized elitist. They did that for 4 years. And as soon as they lost, now everybody's on the phone selling wolf tickets, calling people up. I want to fight you. I'm going to kick your butt. I'm going to kick your butt. When you had an opportunity to fight me, when you had an opportunity to fight for your voters, when you had an opportunity to fight for your constituents, to fight for legislation, you weren't in the game. You were on the beach. You were gone fishing. You went fishing. So I can't stress enough how horrifically dishonest this whole charade is to thanking people that have been detoxed long enough from the Democratic Party propaganda wing to realize really what's going on, to think with a clear head, to look at it and say, hey, why weren't these people talking this way when Kamala was a vice president and Biden was a president? What about those magical 2 years? I thought Biden did so much. Why didn't it stick? Why people vacating the Democratic Party. I'll tell you why, because they see through what a lot of people do.
There's no leadership. There's nobody doing anything. And what we saw, honestly, was a cave. Yet again, another example with Schumer saying, I don't want the smoke. And we're asking.
Curry Champion was not saying that no one was doing anything 3 months ago. I covered this, man. That video would be out. It's like the talking points went out to all the surrogates and all the chattering Democrats that go on these shows. Oh, and I don't even think they send Curry the updates. I think with her, it's just like she just watches someone else talk and then she repeats it. She's in her slippers in her house, just taking notes, and whatever Donna Brazile or insert name of other person says, she's repeating it because they're all saying the same talking points, all of them. And at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. Johnny come lately, okay? They talk as if they didn't believe it was possible that the Republicans could get the White House again, even though we know, based on our crap system, that's basically a duopoly of just two parties, and we know two wings of the same bird and all that jazz. But the probability was there that you were going to lose. It always is there. They were operating, to me, with a sense of arrogance, not with a sense of urgency. And now, look, it's like they say, a lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. That's what one of my supervisors said back when I was on my first professional job. Yeah. Someone needs to tell Curry Champion that's how shit works.
I say stuff.
Now, of course, the proposals that they're bringing are horrendous enough for us to do that, and we should do that.
What's horrendous about the CR? It continues funding the government because Democrats are so enraged that the government was. And I'm just confused because last week I was told that people going and expressing their First Amendment rights was part of their democratic and civic duty, and now Chuck Schumer can't even have a book party with Democrats over it. I'm trying to decide.
Scott, I actually think that Democrats are in agreement with you in the sense that they probably think Chuck Schumer should,
yes,
to
exactly.
Carrie's point, take the smoke.
2 weeks ago, he was attacking.
Show up and take the he should show up and take the L is what I'm saying. No one's saying he can't have it, Scott. He can do whatever he chose to. But once again, another example of him deciding to hide. I would love for him to go on the book tour so that he can answer the questions of the American people. Security risk, perhaps may be true, according to what Abby has said and what his office is saying.
Who would be the security risk, though?
I don't know.
Who would be the security risk?
Wait a minute. The book is about.
Who is the risk? Can we just admit who the risk is?
The book is about anti-Semitism, right? So I guess somebody that might be anti-Semitic might target
the left.
Chuck Schumer. Tomorrow, he's supposed to be on The View. I think that hasn't changed. He'll be on the hot seat there. I also think he should go on this book tour because if we...
You know what, guys? Let's come up with a new theory. We're not going to spend too much time on this. I've discussed this on several other videos that we've covered this week. But I got to tell you, man, I got a theory. Fam. Check this out. I believe the Democrats all knew that Chuck Schumer was going to throw himself on the sword. Yeah, I got a feeling that this was all arranged. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think Chuck Schumer is such a brave soul. He walked that long walk alone. I don't believe that, He's not Osiris. He's not Ellis. Ellis from Apocalypse Now. No, Platoon. That's it. Remember Ellis in Platoon? He went out there on his own, trying to rescue people, and he's like running back at the end or whatever. Somebody set him up. He's running back to the chopper. He's running there like, Ellis is alive. He's running to the chopper. Yeah, that's not Schumer. No, Schumer's not. He's not the guy running to the chopper after, he's a big hero guy. He's not that kind of guy. To me, he's squirrely. Squirrely. Schumer's squirrely. And, I just feel like this is all I feel like it's coordinated, It's too many people using the same talking points, and I just don't see Schumer standing on business. It's just too flimsy for me. My spidey sense is tingling, man. The count is off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna need you to count that out for me because something ain't right. And look, I got nothing to go on it. Like, I'm not talking to any Democrats on the inside, but I don't think I need to. You know, I trust them so little. You know, I'm skeptical of them because they lie. You know, it's all politicians. I don't trust politicians by law. I don't trust any politicians I trusted in the past. Oops. Only reason why I rock with Dr. Cornel West because he wasn't a politician. That was it. Yeah, I haven't voted for a Democrat since Obama. Even though there's a lot of smear campaigns against your brother because of making noise. But yeah. So the idea that these people would not coordinate an event like this in order to try to save some of them their jobs, because that's exactly where it is. I don't think you understand where we are. The Democrats are despised. The numbers are lower right now than it's ever been for the Democratic Party. And yeah, since they've been counting, the numbers are lower now than they've ever been. So yeah, I think this is all smoke and mirrors, fam. And yeah.
Are talking about Republicans.
They want people to get deals done. And the fact of the matter is people don't want to punch. The fact of the matter is people are actually excited. NBC News on Meet the Press, they reported their polling found the highest level of enthusiasm in the country.
Anna Navarro is not interested in old girls talking points. Oh, God. I'm not an Anna Navarro fan, but she is giving her the mean mug, Johnson. That's downright unliberal. That's downright disrespectful. Look at Anna Navarro's face. Christopher Walken's that Tina cousin.
Going in the right direction since 2004, 20 years. So President Trump is doing exactly what he campaigned on. That's why 76%.
Whoa. She's dropping numbers. No wonder why Anna's face is so dry.
Was the adult in the room. He did what the American people want. The American people want government. They want people to get deals done. And the fact of the matter is people don't want to punch. The fact of the matter is people are actually excited. NBC News on Meet the Press, they reported their polling found the highest level of enthusiasm in the country going in the right direction since 2004. 20 years. So President Trump is doing exactly what he campaigned on. That's why 76% of people said, according to CBS polling, agreed with his State of the Union speech, which included a lot of independents and a lot of Democrats who were watching that speech.
Carrie.
That is why.
Carrie, my namesake, Carrie.
Yes, my fellow Carrie.
You do know what you're saying is incorrect. I don't care about the polling.
Talk to NBC.
The American. I don't care what NBC is saying. I can talk to the people on the street.
I don't think Carrie was doing that when Kamala looked like she was doing okay in the polls. Yeah, that's what's always funny to me, right? So, like, I respect the people that never trust polls. Yeah, those people I respect you because you're consistent. All I'm requiring is consistency, okay? And Carrie is very inconsistent. Like, I've been covering her. She was just as happy when she thought Kamala was doing well because polls said, hey, you had a good week with Tim Walz, and they unrolled it. Look at Beyonce, and look at Kelly Rowland, and look at, Eminem, and look at the other thing, and the other one, Meg Thee Stallion, and the other one that sings with Taylor Swift, and everybody came out and I love her. She's really doing it. She's so smart and amazing. And never did I hear her or Abby or anybody say, hey, but these polls, we can't trust these polls. Polls are bullshit. I never heard them say that. But now, so like, either you believe in polls, and I know there's people that don't, so I'm leaving space for that because there's a lot of people that say polls are nonsense. They're garbage. You can't trust them. And that's cool. I respect that. Just don't cherry pick. Either when the polls make you look good, take it and be happy. When the polls don't make you look good, you got to take that and eat it. Hold that L up. Hold that L up like James Amos. Hold that baby to the sky. Kunta Kinte.
Are you on the streets? Are you talking
Absolutely,
to people
I am.
in real life situations who
Are you talking to people in real life situations? I don't like to go in on her, but it's obvious this person cannot handle Curry Champion. Curry Champion's not going to have any data at all. Are you talking to people? I went to the store yesterday. I bumped into a lady. I was at Target. I wasn't supposed to be there because our shopper said I can't go, but I went anyway. And that sister told me she did not like Trump. And I talked to 3 other black women that say the same thing. See, I proved my point.
have everyday jobs who are saying they're unhappy, you know very well.
Are you saying CNN polling is wrong?
No. What I'm saying is, don't do me. Don't try me today, Scotty. What I'm saying to you.
Yeah, like the polls she was citing, some of them are CNN. CNN has its own polls. Like, I've been covering this. CNN and CBS polls are like off by 1 point. Like, it's not just one like polling agency. The very channel that she works for that gives her the paychecks are saying the same thing. And Curry saying polls suck. It's Scott Porter plug. People's like, it's haters out there. They hate Republicans. I don't hate Republicans. I hate Democrats. I keep telling y'all, this is a channel that I want to get black people away from the Democratic Party. That's my mission. Hey, look, I'm sorry I didn't tell everybody this episode. Look, folks, my job, the mission of this channel, is to get black people out of the burning building known as the Democratic Party. Once we get out the house, we got our backs, and we're out of it. We're safely out of that house. Then we can start negotiating who we're going to elect, who we're going to vote for, based on who's got the better deal for us at the time. And that's how we will continue to plot our political lives, just like all other groups of people. We will no longer be manipulated by the fact we are black and live in America. We are black Americans from America, and say, well, we got to just go with the Democrats because that's how we got to do. If not, slavery coming back next week. Now, we're not going to operate that way, and that's what I advocate for, okay? So I like when Scott's telling the Democrats where they can go and how long, because somebody got to tell them. They ain't going to tell themselves unless they try to get a soundbite, like Simone Sanders, or Toure, or a Curry Champion, who were quiet this whole damn time. So get him, Scott. Get him.
But out of CNN poll, are you saying our polling is wrong?
No, what I'm saying to you is that by and large, people are not happy.
No, they're very happy. They're unhappy with Democrats.
You're happy.
They're happy with Trump.
You're happy. Democrats aren't happy. We're not happy with Democrats and the way they're handling the situation.
Let me try to sort this out real quick before we have to go to break.
Yeah, man, that's a rough segment, man. She's saying everybody not happy. The polls say that most Trump supporters are very happy. And the Democrats are not happy at all with the Democratic Party. They're not happy with losing. They're not happy with Biden not dropping out early. They're not happy with Kamala being a horrible person to run. Like, they're just not happy with a number of things. They were not happy with the economy under Biden. Okay? So, in a lot of things that Republicans ran on were very popular with America. A lot of people wanted our border closed. A lot of people wanted to end the war in Ukraine. A lot of people, and I know Tim, it doesn't matter. It's not a lot of people. It only affects 1 or 2% of society. Why are you hopping on the men and women's sports? I hop on it because if we can't get you to be honest about something so basic as you're so hypocritical. You talk all the time about protecting women, but you don't see the women you don't see my granddaughter, my 13-year-old granddaughter. You don't want to protect her from some boy who now wants to transition to a girl who wants to play against her in a sport and crush her heart and her dreams because he's naturally faster and stronger than her. But you want to protect. And we ain't even talking about the bathrooms and the locker rooms, none of that. Okay? So if we can't get you to get the GED questions right, why we got to keep hearing about you and your critical race theory and all your other shit? Because you can't even get the basics, man. You still on addition and subtraction. You can't even get them scores right. You don't understand why we want to pull money out of Ukraine. It's a fight for you to get it. There are black schools. I need a sign. I need somebody to do some sign language. Because it's obvious Democrats can't hear. I don't hate Ukrainians. I do got a problem with the number of Nazis that I seen in that documentary, though. I got a problem with that. And I got a problem with Zelensky coming over here with his hands looking like cups. I got a problem with that. But what I have more of a problem with is Democrats who can't understand that we got things in America that need to be funded for our communities as a black person. Remember, I'm advocating for Black America. Why the hell would I applaud us sending money to an unwinnable war 100,000 miles away, wherever the hell it is? Why would I applaud that? And why would anybody who say they advocate for Black Americans be on that unless they are a bunch of sellouts? That don't even make any sense. We got neighborhoods and communities all across this country in black neighborhoods with a lack of resources. And you're going to send resources. So I want you to verify, I want you to justify why that money need to go out the country, out the door. And I want you to justify the bloat in the government. And whose words am I copying? Obama's and Clinton's. Because they said the same thing. For some reason, they weren't called Hitler for saying it. Well, they wanted to cut the government. And yes, Trump could do a better way. He could go about it a better way. He could be more efficient. He could be less combative and less of an ass when he does it. I agree with that. But that don't mean you don't do it. Because like anything else, the money's mostly going in the top, out the top, to the top, and out the door. All right, guys, let's keep going. I think we're done with this segment. Can I get a like on this segment, guys? Our goal is 400 likes. Buck Bewley and Black Mamba moderating here on YouTube. If you're watching on X or Facebook, it'd be really dope if you came over to YouTube and hit the like button for us. It really helps. It helps us in the algorithm. You want to keep going? Let's keep going, Johnson. Where are we, baby? What time is it? How we doing, Buck? I hope we're doing okay. Okay, here goes my next story. So look, man, I've been covering this next story. Next story is going to be Bill Burr. Bill Burr goes on The View, and he drops a few truth bombs. And hey, he's just one of my favorite comedians. So, you know, I like highlighting my favorite comedians. He's one of my top 5 comedians, you know what I'm saying? It's Corey Holcomb, Dave Chappelle, Ali Sadiq, Cat Williams, and Bill Burr.
Being Donald Trump's approval rating continues to go in the wrong direction.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Both political parties have incurred your wrath over the many years that you've been doing this. Both sides, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So
I don't know where you're going with this.
So you're bipolitical. So, you know.
I'm not into politicians at all. They don't make any money. They're set up to be bribed, and in the end, they're all worth like $50 to $100 million.
See what I'm saying? How could you not like that guy? He's speaking my very thoughts. He's saying the same thing we were saying. He said, I don't rock with these politicians. They don't make enough money, to be honest. They come in, they don't make any money, and then they leave, and they're worth how much, Bill? Tell them, Bill.
So, you know.
I'm not into politicians at all. They don't make any money. They're set up to be bribed, and in the end, they're all worth like $50 to $100 million. And everybody thinks one side is better than the other. You know, I don't know. It's a weird time, but I just feel like someone needs to bring the boiling water.
And look how quiet it got in the studio. Got quiet as hell, man. Church mouse. Yeah, very quiet. What he said, yeah, somebody, and they think one side's better than the other. See, this is what I'm telling you about Bill Burr, man. Bill Burr will go into the lion's den and say that in front of the hens. Yeah, he's right there, ground zero for people that do exactly that. All day arguing that the Democrats are better than Republicans and that Trump is Hitler. That's what this show is every day. And Bill Burr is right there in their faces saying the opposite is true. It's a beautiful thing. They better not try to roast him either, because he'll do him like Cat Williams. Like Cat Williams did that sister, man. Rest her soul, though. Rest her soul. I ain't gonna say it.
Bring the boiling water down to a simmer, and everybody on both sides. Like if you watch CNN, Fox, you go online, or you listen to politicians, it's all, and then you walk out on the street and someone's like, hey, how you doing? You're like, good. So I don't think they're living in like a reality.
But is there anybody getting your ire up these days more than usual?
Nerds.
Yeah.
The nerds that own the politician,
nerds.
all these tech nerds that want to build robots because they don't know how to talk to hot women, they're gonna take over the world. They're gonna take over. They are literally gonna replace us. We're like beta right now, and they're coming out with like the VCR. And I think Elon has got the rockets going because they realize there's other Earths out there. Yeah. And they're gonna trash this one, and because they don't have any concern for it, and they're gonna move on to the next Earth. And everybody's gonna be standing down here with your blue and red ties, going, "Wait a minute, I was on your side," and they're just gonna leave.
Well, you were talking about death in your set. Do they not realize that they're going to die? These people, they don't realize that eventually everybody dies.
I always wondered that about all religions, where they always talk about a wrathful God and will send you to hell, and it's like none of you guys are operating like you fear this. The way you run your religion.
That's right.
So I don't get any, I don't understand any of that. I'm just trying to be like chill. Somebody holds the door. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. But
so you're trying not to go to hell?
No, I don't believe in that. I don't think we are God's mistakes. Like, why is he mad at us?
He was trying to bring the temperature down before that part.
No, I don't understand. Like, God makes sociopaths, pedophiles, and all of that, and then we all have to deal with it, and then it creates crazy people who do other bad things, and then somehow it's our fault. You have to work it out.
No, but the answer is that the devil creates those.
Yeah,
God doesn't.
Look at you, Joy.
I'm just telling them what they say. The devil made me do it.
But
she's an agnostic.
But God created the devil. That's his responsibility.
Yeah, if Bill Burr would go off and he would just say anything, man. The guy's fearless. I rock with it. I think it's good to be that way. God, get rid of the devil. Problem solved. And he didn't make it a Trump joke. He didn't make it a Trump joke at all, man. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, next segment.
That's a good point.
Why does he just get rid of the devil?
And you know what else? God created you, Bill.
Yes.
Check it out on Glenn Ross on Broadway at the Palace Theater. His stand-up comedy special, Drop Dead Years, is streaming now on Hulu.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I'm not talking about the violence. We've already established that. What's the difference between that and Tim Walz saying, I get a kick out of it?
First of all, Tim Walz is a complete moron to me. I have to be very honest. And I'm not surprised why the American people did not choose him. Nothing against the vice president. With that said, Elon Musk employs 80,000+ Americans. Most of them are working class people. The implications of the stock, let's say this were to continue on for another year. So I'm just throwing out a hypothetical. Will the company at some point have to decrease its workplace? Most of those people, I would imagine, probably vote for Democrats, at least some of them. So now you're impacting people who likely share your worldview because you disagree with Elon Musk. Don't buy the car. Just like those guys are saying, let's protest Anheuser-Busch, et cetera. We're just not going to buy their beer. I'm okay with that. But destroying public property, there is no place for that. I agree with Kevin. Lock them up and set an example that this is not what we're going to tolerate in this country.
Yeah, man, I think it's a no-brainer, man. It's like, I keep saying it, that they're upset at the wrong guy. Like, Trump is the president of the United States. People have been watching MSNBC and the corporate media way too much. There is nothing Elon Musk is doing that he's not being assigned to do by Trump. Come on, man. Trump gave him the keys. And if Trump didn't want him driving a car, he would have given him the keys. That's it. And Trump told him where he could go with the car. You can take the car, have it back by midnight. That's it. And in America, corporate media, they decided they can't fight Trump. So this is perfect for them because they could beat up on Musk. Because Trump's been cleaning their clock for a decade now. Except for that little stint in there where he lost the election, I think. I still think if it wasn't for all those write-in violence, it would have been a different story. And it would have been better for the Democrats, actually, if Trump would have did his terms consecutively. Because now you've given Trump 4 years to sharpen the blades. And that's exactly what he's done. Trump's come in with very sharp blades, with a head full of steam, knowing exactly what he wants to do. And that's not something he was going to be able to do if he'd have won back-to-back terms. He would have been still trying to feel his way around in a dark room with no glasses. Okay? And the furniture was moved. But you gave him 4 years to map the place out like Mission Impossible, to figure out where stuff goes. And now it's like Ocean's 11. Gone before you knew it, Johnson. It's usual suspects. And then he was gone. And there he is. He comes in off the Brizik. He already had it. For the record, guys, it's a little bit of a rant, but ride with me here. It's important. It's not that Donald Trump is writing more executive orders than Obama or Biden. It's that he's rapidly doing them, meaning he planned to do them. He knew what he was doing. He came in and got right to the business. He came in and stood on business and got right to work. And Biden just wandered around, couldn't find his blankie. He didn't know what was going on. Somebody had to come get him. Come on, Pop-Pop. Come on, Pop-Pop. Got to go bathroom? Okay, then we take you to the bathroom. Then we'll write the executive order. Yeah, okay? Trump's still under 100 executive orders. Obama did like over 300 executive orders, and you don't even talk about it. And the Republicans, what were they doing when Obama was doing his executive orders? They was calling him a dictator. They were calling him the same things that Democrats are calling Trump. But you didn't hear about it, Democrat person, because you don't watch Fox. And liberals pretty much own the airwaves. See? And there were times Obama was taken to court and they told him he was overreaching too. But all this stuff is in books and all of it's all over the internet. All you got to do is read, look it up, but no one is even thinking about it because they don't believe it exists. They think these are actions only done by Trump. And since he's been demonized for 10 years, you don't even believe that Trump and Biden all had the same types of rulings that Trump's getting. Overreach, unconstitutional. It happened to them too. But they weren't demonized over it. So the Democrats did an expert job of demonizing Donald Trump. But at the end of the day, they sucked so bad it didn't even help. In fact, it backfired. And they gave a guy 4 years to do some free agency shopping around. They gave him 4 years to build a better squad. 4 years of staring up at the ceiling and watching Jimmy Kimmel and corny-ass Seth Meyers, lame Jimmy Fallon. Well, maybe not Jimmy Fallon as much. He don't talk that much about politics. Jimmy Kimmel every other week crying on his show. Charlamagne the God pretending to be a show joke teller or something, making Trump jokes. D.L. Hughley carrying Kamala's bra around, wearing it on his head, and drinking out of her Louboutins. And all he did was plot his arrival. So yeah, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope rhyme to step to. So yeah, it is what it is. I thank Shermichael Singleton for getting to the punch, man. I tell you, man, Shermichael, I'm rubbing off on you, bro. I see you get a little bit more punchy now. Yeah, that's right. Call Tim Walz a moron. He is a moron. Also call him creepy, because he is creepy. Yeah, he like to call Trump weird. Maybe Trump and Vance are a little weird, particularly Vance. But he's also smart. But Walz is neither smart and he's also very creepy. He's the type of guy you don't want to leave the kids alone with. Those are the vibes I get from him. You know what I'm saying? I know you can't say that one on air, Singleton, because that's my brain, that's yours. But yeah, I like seeing Singleton, punching a little bit in there because it's Scott. Well, I let Scott had all the fun. Get in there. All right, let's keep going. I think we're almost done with this segment, though.
I mean, obviously, the violence is completely unacceptable, and these people will go to jail. I mean, you can't burn a dealership and not get caught eventually and go to jail. But it is, again, the broader question here about has it crossed the line when people are sort of rooting for the failure of a company?
Well, first, let me say, until yesterday, I think I was one of the only Democratic elected officials to unambiguously condemn the violence and destruction against Tesla. I don't think you have to be tough on crime to do that. As you know, my grandfather is part of Gandhi's Satyagraha movement, independence movement. He said sabotage is a form of violence. I mean, this is not the best form of protest, and it's not the tradition. The second point is, I'm not going to root against Tesla. There are 20,000 people who work in my district who make a living off this. They're building electric vehicles that ultimately are good for the climate. I have huge, huge problems with what Elon Musk is doing. Have the protest and the conversation and criticism of Musk. Don't take it out on a company where you have workers, where you have engineers, where you have scientists, which are creating wealth for the country, which is helping the climate. And I think Democrats have to be able to offer common sense perspectives, focus on what the problem is with Musk. Don't focus on the wealth of a company.
On the other side of things, here is what the Commerce Secretary, the actual Commerce Secretary, is saying.
Yeah, I want to point this out, guys. It looks like, to their point, there were some arrests made, right? So Pam Bondi, Attorney General, says that there are 3 people that were charged for alleged involvement in recent attacks against Tesla properties in Salem, Oregon, Loveland, Colorado, and Charleston, South Carolina. So, yeah, it's going down, Johnson. And that's a stupid thing to catch a charge for. I mean, at the end of the day, what you're doing is, you're throwing rocks. You're throwing pebbles at a man made of rock. It's like throwing pebbles at the thing. Remember the thing with he's made of rocks? I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure. In fact, I know that all those vehicles are insured. But when you're messing up personal people, it's like when I see them. So the dealerships, I'm against it, but at least it's not a person. It's not an individual that owns that, per se, and we know those are insured. And you're on camera, you're on that property. Dealerships have very good camera systems. So, yeah. But the individuals, I'm totally I think you should go to jail for a much longer time for attacking individuals and damaging their stuff. Like a form of terror to get them to not support Trump and not support Elon. That's to me, I see the terror angle with the individuals. And I think the stiffer sentences should come for those who actually went after real people's property and trying to intimidate them. Because at the end of it, it's about the politics. So that's the definition of terrorism. When you're trying to change people's you get a political bent to your violence. That's what terrorism is. So yeah. All right, guys, let's give it up for that. Let's go to the next one, Johnson. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. This is why I remind you that Tim Black has a gear shop. You go to timblackpause.com to pick up our gear. We got some good stuff in there. And, of course, I'm biased. Yeah, I want to get past this segment. Let's go on to the mayor of Boston, guys. Not many people are going to talk about this, but I think it's important to talk about it. The mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, she's one of the sanctuary cities that had to do the testifying in court along with Brandon Johnson and the other guy from the other city. Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams from New York. And they all had to testify about their sanctuary cities and how they were handling their migrant populations, right? So here she is giving a speech now in regards to it. I don't know what this speech was about, but she's going to take some swipes at Trump and she's going to talk about her migrants and her immigrants and her undocumented people in the city of Boston, Massachusetts.
2 weeks ago, I went down to D.C. because Congress had some questions about how we do things here in Boston. Now, it might have been my voice speaking into the microphone that day, but it was 700,000 voices that gave Congress their answer. This is our city. No one tells Boston how to take care of our own. Not kings and not presidents who think they are kings. Boston was born facing down bullies. In D.C., During the breaks to nurse the baby, I caught up on the scene unfolding back home. Hands joined in prayer across an interfaith circle at St. Paul's. Bright letters illuminated on the old State House bricks. Homemade signs held high among the crowds on City Hall Plaza. We stand with immigrants. You belong here. Somos una ciudad de inmigrantes. Boston doesn't back down.
And that's going to be something she's going to have to stand on, Johnson, because my understanding is that immigration officials did not like that statement that Boston, that you belong here. They did not like that statement. That signals to migrants that you need to come to Boston. Forget what the government says. Forget what the rules are. We could just come to Boston because there she goes with open arms. There's a lot of people that don't understand my pushback about the immigration situation. They don't get it. And they just see a black guy and they just think xenophobic. He hates, people that, and that's not it at all. Once again, I'm here to advocate for Black Americans. I'm not apologizing to you at all. I'm just telling you what it is, and I'm explaining to you. Boston is the least place that should be having any pushback to somebody asking questions about the immigration policies. And you realize that this woman that got there, she spoke very eloquently, who's now up for re-election soon. So she's got to show up her base, and that's why she's grandstanding like she is, or at least part of it. I don't know the full reason. Maybe she's a moron. But one of the first stories that I covered, or earlier in my career, I covered a story about Boston. A lot of you who consume Black media know about it. Just in case you don't, let me enlighten you. It's been almost a decade since the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston's 2015 Color of Wealth in Boston report made waves with its striking finding. The median net worth of non-immigrant Black households. The median net worth of a non-immigrant Black household in Boston, Massachusetts was just $8. Yeah, $8. But we got a mayor that not only has an open door policy to migrants whom end up having much more success and more wealth than us, doesn't care about these stats. And if she does, it doesn't sound like it. Meanwhile, while the average Black American non-immigrant Black, they separated. Very rarely did they separate these things. While white households boasted a median of almost $250,000. Median. The question is whether this disparity has shifted meaningfully since then. So that's what I wanted to find out, because those are the old numbers back in 2015. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, Johnson. So now it's 2025. The most recent study was 2022. Has it changed? According to the Urban Institute, 2022 figures, Black net worth may have ticked up from $8 to $11,000. And unfortunately, white wealth ticked down to about $200,000. That's still, for every dollar, we got a dime. And the mayor of Boston, Massachusetts, where this all happens, where this is all going down, not only doesn't know how much money they spend on migrants who haven't paid into the system there in Boston, doesn't even count. Well, Chicago, Brandon Johnson, he was asked the same question. He gave some weird answer that didn't really make sense. But Eric Adams, he gave a number. Eric Adams said they spent $6.9 billion. Oh, I know what it was. Brandon Johnson, he said they spent $500 million on migrants, people that don't pay into the system. And that money got to come from somewhere. Get what I'm saying? So I don't know what Boston spends. I don't think Boston is as big. I don't know. Is Boston, Massachusetts as big as Chicago, Illinois? I don't know. But it'd be nice to know those numbers. See, when you advocate for a group that's on the bottom, this is why I do what I do. Because if there was a white person in here, or if David Pakman or Jesse, whatever his name is, whatever these people are, Jesse Waters on Fox, or I don't know, Charlie Kirk. If they knew of a black community, or a white community, I should say, if they knew of a white community that was worth $8 on the median, and there was a black community there that was worth over $250,000, and then you come back 6-7 years later, and the white community is only worth $11,000, and the black community is worth $200,000. Yeah, they'd be talking about it. It'd be a crisis. It'd be everywhere. People be rolling, gravestones would be rolling over because people would be coming out their graves, trying to start forest fires to burn down the city of wherever this was taking place. So, I don't apologize for my advocacy for Black Americans, because this is not a story you're going to hear with it being white Americans in that position. And if it was, there'd be a lot of noise about it. Also, it's not a story you're going to hear about Latino Americans either, because Latino Americans, for some reason in the hierarchy of here, financial hierarchy, for some reason they come in and they get businesses quicker, they make more money. There's whole industries where we're shut out of, where we don't, because we don't speak Spanish. Yeah. That's going to come up later too when we talk about, when we get to some other points. So yeah, Michelle Wu up here tap dancing, doing a grandstand with her chest all out, talking about how, Boston, we take care of our people. You don't take care of black people. Why come, why is it that the Democrats can't have any of that same smoke to support us? Where's the same vigor, the same energy to have our backs, to make sure, why come your speech can't be, hey, we fighting for Black Americans? Last time I heard, immigrants that helped build Boston or this country. The Black Americans did. So yeah, I got reasons for it. I wonder what AOC would say if there was a community in the Bronx of Latinos that was worth $8 and Black Americans were worth, I don't know, $250,000. Well, we already know she'd be crying outside of the apartment complexes or outside their subdivision or whatever, right? Because that's what she did when she saw Latino kids in cages. Well, you know what? You can go to any juvenile detention center and see Black kids in cages at 3 times the rate of white kids and twice the rate of Latino kids. And I don't see tears coming out your eyes. See, I got too much of this. I know too much. And it makes it difficult for me to look the other way and not speak on it. Okay? So save your crappy DMs, your complaining and your crocodile tears and this kumbaya nonsense. You only talking about kumbaya because you doing well. Because we all know what people do when they're not doing well when it comes to us. So we're gonna live in reality, not a fantasy land. So I'm not impressed with Michelle Wu, and I'm glad she breastfeed her child, whatever she was talking about. That's nice. I don't know why that's in your speech. We don't want no breast milk. We want money, and we want resources to go to Black communities. And these are the most up-to-date stats that I have. If she's done much better, you can tell us. But she wasn't talking about Black Americans when she was in D.C., talking about sanctuary cities. Her rebuttal wasn't, but we've helped everybody and we've really boosted Black Americans. I know Boston has a history of Black Americans being disenfranchised due to, and there's a number of reasons why, because that's always some troll in my comment section giving my viewers a hard time. The chasm remains cavernous and structural. Housing, business access, income inequality haven't budged much. So most of the wealth of those in Boston is in their homes. And since people were redlining the hell out of the pretty much of the home ownership business in Boston, Massachusetts, we're really behind it. And also very discriminatory in their business practices. Yeah. So there it is. That's why. But once again, like if Michelle Wu would have been up there and while she was testifying in front of Congress, and she'd have been like, yeah, but we got Black Americans back too. But she didn't say that, and that's because it's not true. Because she doesn't. All right, guys, let's go to the next one. I just every once in a while I used to let people know I'm really on my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm really doing this. So that's important. That's important. Next. What's next on our agenda, Johnson? Boston Mayor Nick. Oh, we're going to go. I saw this trending, guys. This is interesting. There's a sportscaster by the name of Nick Wright, and he put out something. He put out a clip that is going pretty viral right now. Last time I saw it was at 1.5 million views on X, and I saw Stephen A. Smith make mention of it, which alerted me to it. And it's about Jackie Robinson and DEI. Because, yeah, they're going back and have that conversation again about why DEI is so important and why it needs to be reinstated and why we need to fight for it. So let's listen to Nick Wright, sportscaster formerly for FS1.
It is nation-leading
DE saw it happen.
voices that is our city.
That's why I have a problem with the DEI guys. That's why I got a problem with it. Because DEI only makes sense in America when you use black people to tell a story. He can tell the same story using anybody else because no other group has the currency of the traditions, the historical relevance that would make this story even make sense. His argument would fall flat if it weren't for the blacks. But we're not even the primary recipients of it. And do you think this guy cares about that? No. Do you think he would touch that part? No. That's why I got a problem with it. It uses the currency of blackness to help a whole lot of people. And at the end of the day, Black Jackie Robinson would be so far down the line of people getting helped. There'd be white women in Major League Men's Baseball before Jackie Robinson would have been on that list. If DEI was back then. Because that's the effect of DEI, dude. On the DEI list, a black man, a heterosexual black man, it's like number 7. Back when Jackie Robinson was playing baseball, back in the 50s, I'm not even sure what year it was. I'm guessing the 50s. When the civil rights movement really started getting some heat, the idea that black Americans have been held and discriminated against and held back against under Jim Crow was evident, obvious, no one could deny it. Okay? And the policies initially were directed towards righting the ship and trying to make things somewhat equal. It never was equal, but somewhat equal. And that only lasted a couple of years before you opened the floodgates, brought in new immigrants, and then extended the same rules and laws that were supposed to be leveling the playing field for the people that have been historically discriminated against since 1619. And you used it for everybody. So that's why I got a problem with DEI, and this crystallizes it for you. Okay? Because it uses us to help everyone. And we're not in a position, Nick Wright, to be the bridge for everyone to cross over. Why do we got to be the bridge you step on to get to the other side? You think we're doing so great that that's our role? That's what they think. That's what the liberals think. It's our role. It's our job. And some of us are still living in this manumission. I always get that term wrong and I always go down this road. Anyway, there's always a group of black people that want to sacrifice themselves to save other people, particularly white people. And it's disgusting and it needs to stop. And the talking heads do it the worst. And as I pointed out before, these academics who I thought, we need academics leading the way and talking for us. Can't have people like Tim Black talking. Sometimes I'll drop an F-bomb or I'll curse, and there'll be people losing their freaking minds. How dare you curse into my ears? I've never heard a curse word before in my life. And I would see that maybe we need to have the academics do the conversating, do the debating, do the pushing for us, do the advocating. The only problem is those Ivy League academics don't really have skin in the game, do they? I mean, except for their own skin in the game, meaning they're looking to further their own careers and not burn bridges with the social aspects of it and not lose opportunities. So all the fire that they should have, the emotion and the commitment to the issues for Black Americans, go out the window as they try to take care of themselves. So I'm left with the predicament of realizing that, yeah, though imperfect, though I'm an imperfect voice, I am a committed voice with skin in the game. Therefore, more committed, more serious, and passionate about the issues. Not talking about them theoretically, that we could leave out important facts about the fight. Let him keep going, guys. He means well. The flex you think it is, Nick, I think you're wrong, Nick. In fact, I know you're wrong, Nick. He wasn't a DEI hire because there was no such thing as DEI. What he was an affirmative action, one of the original affirmative action hires back before the program was hijacked and made to put white women in front, and then diluted by helping Eskimos, Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and Lithuanians, and LGBTQ, and people with disabilities, and veterans, and a whole line of just name it, blind people, anything. Get it? So, and by the way, all those other people that I named with disabilities and the veterans and LGBTQ, they could be any color. I don't know if you noticed in that, Nick, but there are a lot of white vets and a lot of whites with disabilities and a lot of white Americans, men who are veterans and who are LGBTQ as well. 6% of the population is. So, yeah. So, I get it, probably won't get them invited to too many parties with the swanky liberals when you're calling out BS on their talking points. But you can't go viral talking this way, unless Black America really gets together, bands together, and make conversations like this go viral the same way they make conversations about, I don't know, Dr. Umar's daughter calling him a deadbeat. To that end, I hope it happens soon. I really do. I really do. All right, guys, I got one more topic for us to go before we shut it down, but it's a doozy, Johnson. This is going to be a big one. This is a big one right here. It's going to be good. All right, so I want to let everybody know we do this show 5 days a week. Only days we're off, I'll just tell you when we're not here. We're not here on Saturday, we're not here on Tuesday. And we're typically here around 10:30. If you come early, just enjoy some music or just do other stuff while the music's playing. And when the music stops, that's when the show starts. I know that seems difficult to understand, but I work very hard by myself to put these shows together. I handpicked every one of these, and I got my itinerary, and I looked, and I had to do my research, and it takes pretty much all day. And that's just the research part. So anyway, every piece of artwork, every video edit you see, that's all one guy doing it, me. So just let people know that, I try to be here before 11, 10:30 is when I try to start the music, about 10:30. So, you don't have to be here at 10:30, you can come and, but I just say, just start the thing playing, Oh, I love you. It ain't out of disrespect. All right. I guess we could always scale back to 3 days a week. I know my Mrs. Black would love it. So would my babies. They would love me to go to 3 days a week. Maybe I will. At some point. Last on our list, guys, is going to be something that I know you're ready for. Don Lemon. Recently, today Don Lemon had a guest on his show by the name of Joy Ann Reid, and they had a good conversation. gaslight the hell out of America. Wow, gaslighting. Man, I had to, speaking of research, I had to go dig all this stuff up just to debunk all the gaslighting they was doing and make it make sense and give you context to the propaganda, because Joy Reid has not stopped. She's still doing the same crap she was doing on MSNBC. Let's go.
Like January 6th.
Apparently that's illegal. But now I guess it's also illegal to be against Tesla, and the government is going to now essentially use the mighty power of the US federal government to try to boost car sales for one company. This is not what America is supposed to be, right? It was founded as sort of an oligarchy, but is this where we are now, that we're going to now have the federal government forcibly protect one company above all other companies? At what point do they then step in and say only Grok AI is legal?
Listen to this. Look at the comment. We could burn the flag, but not Tesla. Yeah, why would you think you should be able to burn companies out of existence? That's just, I don't know why is that. And that person paid to say that. A person spent money to pay to say, why can't we burn Teslas? I don't know, because it's against the law to burn property you don't own. I don't know. Isn't that why? Maybe because it's a political motivation behind it. So that makes it something different than just you know, like keying your ex-boyfriend's car. Makes it a little different because you're doing it because of the political aspect, gives it a different thing. Hey, I'm the same way. I remember when I used to want to call everything, every time someone shot up a place, why are we calling this guy a terrorist? Is it because he's a white guy? You're not calling him a terrorist? And I had to be, I was told, this is what I was told, to be terrorist, there has to be a political bent to it. It has to be something they're trying to do politically, a means, a goal that derives from political, trying to change your political opinion, trying to make a political statement. It has to be something related to politics to make it a terrorist act. People throw around the word terrorist willy-nilly when it don't really apply. That's what I was told. That was the definition. Okay, so, and this was years ago when I realized this. I'm like, why are we not calling this white guy to shut up this concert? Remember that? Shut up these people at the concert. Why he's not a terrorist? So I had to learn. That's how we classify it. That's why it's different. Joanne Reed. It's also different. Here goes a very easy way to explain this. Because if it wasn't for Elon working with Trump, none of this would be happening probably. You're not doing it because he voted for Trump. You're doing it because he's working with Trump. In fact, he's working on behalf of Trump. You know, he's being Trump's hatchet guy, right? So, yeah, maybe that's it. Which makes it political then too, right? Right?
Open AI, you can't use that. We're going to say that you must use his AI.
And now she's going to just gaslight and just pull shit out of the air. I saw a video clip of a very disgusting, nerdish-looking, obese guy, white guy, oily hair, the whole nine, smearing feces on a Tesla. He didn't know that Teslas have cameras, obviously. And he stood there for about 3 minutes, repeatedly smearing feces on his Tesla that was privately owned by someone, and it has a camera in it. I don't know why I told you that story other than there's some disgusting things going on here, Johnson. There's some disgusting things going on here. But the Joy, I don't know what, her name doesn't fit her. It doesn't fit.
Only Grok AI is legal. Open AI, you can't use that.
Yeah, like this, there is no, and this is something I noticed about Joy years ago. She'll make a statement that has no facts. There's nothing undergirding it. There's nothing supporting it. She'll just throw it out, right? And just say it For no reason at all. I think this is one of the reasons why she don't have a job anymore. Now she's saying that Trump likes Elon so much, he's going to outlaw all other AIs except for Elon's AI, which is Grok. There's been no indication of it. There's been no statement supporting it. There's been nothing done that she could infer that. And then later she'll say, but I have no proof of it. After she said it and went on 3 sentences, she'll then come back and say, but I got no proof of it. It's just a thought. After she's put it in your head. And I got people defending her, upset that she got fired. She's a propagandist. She's a liar, a gaslighter, and a mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. And it means not to do us any good. It's not about defending Elon Musk. She does this with everything. It's what she does on a nightly basis. Some people don't pay attention. But I learned to take these types of segments sentence by sentence and look at each sentence. And what does it mean? Is this fact or is this commentary? Is this opinion? What is this? Is this an assertion? What is she implying? What does this mean? And if you do that with Joy Reid, you're going to come away with a lot of what she said being bogus as hell.
Companies. At what point do they then step in and say only Grok AI is legal? Open AI, you can't use that. We're going to say that you must use his AI. You know, he's already trying to bully advertisers to advertise on X Twitter, which they don't want to because they're Nazis on there. But they're using this sort of leverage power to force Tesla to continue to be profitable. And that, to me, feels like a complete distortion of what the U.S. is.
Force them to be profitable. I thought they were trying to force you not to burn down the dealerships. Like, yo, I thought this whole thing was about the cars getting burnt down, people getting harassed. I saw a black dude that had a Tesla truck showing what they did to his truck. I thought that's what this was about. Private citizens in dealerships being firebombed and shot up and cars vandalized indiscriminately. I thought that's what this is about. Joy Reid's flipping it and saying it's about Trump trying to protect his friend, who's actually working as a special assistant to the president right now. Isn't he? Isn't that what I thought that's what he was doing? Isn't that what he's doing? I thought that's what he's doing. Let me get this right. So if Kamala Harris is a special assistant to Donald Trump and she had a nail company or she built robots herself, I don't know, maybe she built robots. Let's not even be chauvinistic, Tim. Let's be careful. Let's say she's building robots and you decide to go trash all her robots. If you stepped in, if you say, hey, we need to stop trashing her robots, would that be favoritism? Or would that be she's working for him? She's in the hot seat because she's working for him. And you're attacking her based on her work that she's doing for him, which is political. Would you have a problem, Joy? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't even be doing this segment. You wouldn't even be talking about it because you like Kamala. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And that's what it's always about. Always with these people.
It's supposed to be.
So here's the thing, and you heard it. I don't know if people heard it clear enough. No one is condoning that. And if so,
yeah, Don jumped right over all the bullshit Joy just said because he's not even willing to go there with the fabricating, erroneous nonsense, all the BS, all the lies. He's not even willing to play that game. She just went on a little rant, and Don act like it didn't happen. He's going to remind people, hey, we're not advocating violence, because that's what this segment was supposed to be about. Not about Trump. It's trying to help Elon's company do well. Now he's just trying to get you to stop burning it to the ground. That's what I thought. I'm being honest. If I thought he was trying to make him sell, more Teslas, I guess he was. I know he was. But that's only because of all the hit he's been taking by working with Trump. Like, Trump's the reason why the guy is enemy number one. It's not just because he
someone is caught burning a car, then whatever it is, under the law that they're should face, then I think they should face it. Not like January 6th where you go in and, right?
Man, God, I can't say the fact that January 6th happened. It's like no matter what happens in Earth, if you're a Democrat, if you're a liberal, you got to bring it back to January 6th. Doesn't matter what it is. Someone could litter. A Democrat could litter. And you could say, hey, why are you littering? And they'll say, why did you lock up the people on January 6th? Well, some people that committed those things on January 6th that I don't support getting let out, but some of them have been in jail for years. You do understand that, Joy. You do know that. Like, people act like these people just went for a weekend at Bernie's or something. They just went to Club Med for a couple of weeks. Now, there are people that have been in jail since that shit happened. I don't know if you remember, but it happened like almost 4 years ago. Some people did years in jail, Johnson. Literal jail. And you act like they didn't get any repercussions at all. Don't get it twisted. I think the same thing. I think we need to there are other people that should be let go. From those people, like No Dapple comes to mind, where they're upset about the pipeline that was running through North Dakota. Like, I supported them getting out of jail and not being charged. So I support activists. I don't much feel like January 6th was activism. That was more like people just acting out. That's what it seemed to me. But to talk as if nothing happened, I don't know. Spending years in jail is a big deal, I would think. But as usual, we got to pull up the same line. And folks, they all use the same line. You can tell me it's not coordinated, but it don't make sense for them to all use the same line. Why does everyone use the January 6th line? All of them
do. you tear up the Capitol and then, you get pardoned. Here's the thing, though.
It's no different, man, than the Democrats or the Republicans who use BLM riots. Yeah, man, every time they don't see, because of this shit, because of Don Lemon and Joy Reid have nothing else to say. They have nowhere else to go. They do it on the CNN panels all the time too. January 6th, the View. Oh God, if I had $1 for every time Whoopi or Joy Behar, the other one, whatever her name is, that they brought up January 6th, I'd have a lot of dollars, Johnson. A lot of dollars. Because that's all they do. And you know what happens? The Republicans do the same thing. They bring up the BLM riots. Oh, they won't stop bringing it up. Oh, remember all the buildings that were burned and they did the thing and the thing. They had to hear that. Do they ever include the fact that we know that some of that was done by people that were not even associated with BLM, that there were all types of infiltrators there doing that? How many infiltrators were there on January 6th? Probably some too. Neither side will admit that's what happens at all these events. There's always FBI guys and implants breaking the law right along with the people that are about to be charged. Hell, there were people implanted at some of those police stations that got burnt that were actually initiating the violence. I seen it in the films. So both sides do the same thing. And it's redundant, but you won't hear them bring that up. And I'm bringing it up only because someone said, Tim, you never bring it up. I just brought it up about the BLM stuff. Because I don't like BLM. I think BLM was a Ponzi scheme and it used Black pain and suffering to pad one's pockets. And it was co-opted a long time ago by the Democratic Party in various NGOs, non-government organizations that took advantage of it. There you go.
If this was a company that he deemed to be liberal, he would say, well, that's what happens to the liberals, or that's what happens to the liberals and they deserve it. Just like he, called the NBA players sons of bitches, saying that he didn't like what they were doing. What about Target? What about DEI and Target? Like, he's not, they made all of those companies get rid of that. He didn't say that when they boycotted Bud Light.
Right. And the right does boycotts all the time. They boycott
Because it don't have anything to do with him. Like, everyone knows that Tesla, like, no one, part of the reason why Elon is under fire is because he's working with Trump. Like, are people understanding? Is this basic or what? Like, even if you can't stand Elon Musk, I'm not a fan of him, but I recognize that if he was just making his starships and shit, minding his business, and not working with Donald Trump, his Teslas probably aren't going to get burnt. Because it's not just about the money, right? Because there's a list of Democrats, of donors he's given to donations to Democrats. Yeah, we do know that, right? So like Bill Gates, George Soros, Mark Cuban, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. There's a number of billionaires that give money to the Democrats, right? So it's not just about him donating to the Democrats, it's that he's working with Donald Trump. Therefore, that makes it different than Coors or Bud Light or whatever the hell. Don Lemon was bringing up that he doesn't even drink. We all know you drink some Rolling Rock bullshit. Some special small batch brew stuff, you and Tim, with your pinky out. Don Lemon.
out of the Barbie movie.
You go woke, you go broke.
Go woke, you go broke. So
Right.
what we're now saying is that there's a protected class of Americans who can boycott things.
Yeah, they're called LGBTQIA or immigrants, and you support both of them more than you support Black Americans. Tether an LGBTQ person. The end. I just won the internet for Black Americans, right? Because that's really the deal, right? Finally somebody said it. And I'm not a comedian that can hide and say, oh, but I was making a joke. No, I'm speaking truth.
Who can raid the Capitol, ransack the Capitol. And by the way, it's not even just pardoning the January 6th insurrectionists. It's Donald Trump threatening to prosecute the people who prosecuted those people. Say, holding over their heads and prosecute them. Maybe Jack Smith needs to be prosecuted for daring to investigate Trump's role in it. Like literally saying it's illegal to do anything that displeases Donald Trump. And it's illegal to do anything that hurts the bottom line income of Elon Musk.
Someone down here says, subscribe and join to support independent media. They call Don Lemon independent media. You can't make this shit up, Johnson. Calling Don Lemon independent media. Can you? I can't believe this. He worked at CNN for 15 years, making multiple millions of dollars every year. Joy Reid worked at MSNBC for multiple millions of dollars a year. And now they're independent media because they got fired. This is why we can't have nice things, Johnson, because some people are stupid.
So these two men are super citizens, and it is illegal to displease them. That is the most un-American thing I've ever heard. And if that's where we're going, then we are not a democracy anymore.
Oh, we're not a democracy anymore. Man, I don't know who watches this shit. Yo, she just said we're not a democracy anymore because Trump wants you to stop burning Elon Musk's Teslas. Nah, we want a democracy where they kill Fred Hampton and his bitch, you jackass. We ceased to be a democracy when they were killing black kids in that reform school and burning them behind the school in unmarked graves, you jackass. Then a democracy when black women died at 3 or 4 times the rate of white women just giving childbirth. Poser cosplaying like a journalist. But we're not a democracy now because he wants to help he wants to help preserve Teslas. And the worst thing about it, folks, the worst thing about it is there are people in that comment section that aren't bots. If they were all bots, I'd be cool with it. Wouldn't even bother me. There are people that call themselves smart people. That be driving cars and everything, operating machinery at home, plugging in the iron, all by themselves, using knives, picking up the knife and walking across the room. They manage to do all those things. But they cannot deduce that this is bullshit. This they can't figure out. They can't see through this. Knowing all the history of all the horrible, horrible things. Obama droned American citizens without taking them to court. He killed them because he thought they might be helping ISIS. He literally killed them without trials. She didn't say, this is not a democracy. We don't have a democracy. Our democracy's gone. She said, Trump's evil. Let's focus on that. And he's running for president. That's what she did. Joy has also been wrong about everything. She thought Kamala was going to win this time, and she never thought Trump would be president. And she thought that Joe Biden was cognitively aware and should remain president. That's 3. You're out of there, Joy. But not if you are looking black, anchor baby. That's good enough. That's good enough. Front of the line. She's great. She represents us. How she represent us when she don't champion anything that supports us and has dumb talking points like this? Now we don't have a democracy because of Elon Musk, because Trump. Because Trump did exactly what Biden did, which is do a promo for Tesla. Biden did a promo for Jeeps on the White House lawn. He was doing donuts and shit. I don't remember Joy going, where's our democracy? He's helping, you know. It's the same shit. Like, I don't applaud it, but Elon's got 20, 30,000 U.S. employees. That's no small number. It's more than I have. I mean, it matters. Anyway, let's keep going.
Here is Elon Musk on Fox News.
It's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring.
I thought that the left was supposed to be the party of empathy and caring.
Wait, I want to
ask you all
the entire thing. Don't we have a longer thing? That's Brian. I love Brian Tyler Cohen.
Yeah, we do.
Don't we have the longer?
Yeah, we know you do. I know you do. I wonder if you love me, Don Lemon. I know you know who I am because Isaiah Washington tried to get you to bring me on the show. I know you did. Heard you said mean things about me. I'm not upset. I'm not holding it against you. I still call you a hack. I'm glad. In fact, I'm glad you said mean things because that keeps me being very objective. So you don't want to be friends with these people because you got to be able to report on them honestly.
Put ablaze. You have experienced assassination, threats of assassination for you and your family. What have you done that warrants this? Because I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, or Democrats, were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships,
Yeah, I don't know why you thought that. You're kind of goofy there for that one. Yeah, I got to roast your ass on that one, Elon. Whoever told you that shit? What made you think that? They're the party that want to go to war longer. Yeah, they're the warmonger party now. They switch places with the Republicans. They want to keep us in Ukraine and sit back while Israel destroys all the kids and the women and the men in Palestine, in Gaza. That's what they want to do. That's what you're down for, Johnson. I don't know why you would be dumb enough to think that they're the party of peace. Not even close to it. Nowhere in that realm, Johnson. They've been a peace party since what, the 90s? I don't know. Since Obama. When they looked the other way, when Obama was droning people till he ran out of bombs. Literally. And they looked the other way and act like nothing happened.
firing bullets into dealerships. They're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, again, that should not happen. People should not be burning cars or setting fires to whatever. But there is.
He said, but. He said, but.
It's a coordinated effort going on between a company, right? Someone who has contracts with the U.S. government and the White House. It just, to me, it is weird. Perhaps they should have maybe Marco Rubio or somebody, or Pam Bondi. I don't know, somebody going out, or different police commissioners in states if they want to do it. But it's like coming right from the White House, going straight to state-run media at Fox News and being pumped out to the masses.
To protect the president's largest donor, whom he has unleashed to tear up the federal government with no congressional oversight. And by the way, Elon Musk.
And it will probably be overturned by the government, by the courts, possibly, right? Just like Biden was overturned, just like Obama's various executive actions were overturned. Trump's only been president 2 months. We'll see how long this shit sticks. You know, we'll see. But all this gaslighting, like the world is over, like everything is doomed, and it's the end of days. It's the only way Democrats keep you guys watching, because that's all they got. They're ineffective, and when they had the ball, they didn't want to run the ball. They were scared. They all took a knee. He took a knee with time on the clock, and Trump got the ball back, and he's scoring touchdowns on their ass. And all they can do now is cry foul. He hit me, you know. He hit me. That's all they got left. It is pathetic. They outspent Trump. Hillary outspent Trump 2-1. I don't know how much Kamala spent. She had billions of dollars she spent and threw away. Stop complaining about Elon Musk. She sucked. And this is where we are. And once again, Democrats got more money from billionaires than Trump got from Elon Musk. He had to give so much money to make up for all the multiple millionaires that were giving money to the Democratic Party, and it still didn't help you win. You still spent more than Elon Musk gave Trump. And you still lost. Because money can't buy everything.
I'm saying Tesla is a peaceful company that's never done anything wrong. Sir, Tesla was sued by multiple employees for racial discrimination, with allegations such as blacks were segregated inside of their facilities and subjected to racist hatred, including being called the N-word at work, to the point where multiple people sued and went to the EEOC. And there was actually a federal investigation of Tesla, which of course has gone away now that Trump is here, along with the investigations into safety issues at Tesla. And the bottom line being here that when I saw the other day, and I'm sure you saw this, Don, that Donald Trump signed another order that rescinded the rules that say that federal contractors cannot engage in segregation.
Yeah.
We've had an anti-segregation executive order on the books since the Lyndon Johnson era.
Yeah.
Donald Trump rescinded that. Why in the year of our Lord 2025 would you rescind an executive order banning segregation? The only company that I have heard about that is a federal contractor that's been accused, and I'm not saying convicted, but accused of practicing racial segregation at its workplace is Tesla. And so it felt, when I saw it, people have been sending it to me all day saying, oh my God, they're reinstituting segregation. It's in federal contracting. They no longer bar a federal contractor from engaging in segregation.
Okay, let's stop there, Johnson, because it's a lot to unpack, and I'm here for it. This is what we call the bonus segment here, and this is where we get into it. So there's two things that she claimed. One is that Trump wants to segregate America, which sounds a whole lot like Trump, take it back to slavery. That's desperation on the part of the Democrats. So that's one thing we got to debunk. And the other thing we got to debunk is Tesla with the discrimination lawsuit. And already this has infected the minds of people that I thought were cool with the show and respected what we do here. And they just assumed that what Joy Reid is saying is right. And this is why I can't stand propagandists. So let's start with the Tesla lawsuits. We'll get to segregation next. Let's start with the lawsuits because this is important. First of all, anybody that got discriminated against at a Tesla location and are suing Elon Musk, and you can prove it in court, more power to you. Sue him again. Get all the money you can. I'm not here to cape for Elon Musk. And if there was discrimination and that brother that got that money, I'm glad you got that money. Get more money. My only wish is that you got further money out of it. Okay, he got it. You might as well get some of it. Okay, that's the first thing. Unlike Joy, I actually root for Black Americans. Second, the idea. Okay, and if it's a class action lawsuit, hey, I get that too. Same thing. If there are other facilities where Black people have experienced discrimination on the job, N-word or something, what have you, whatever happened, get paid, okay? But it's going to be very difficult to tie that to Elon Musk because he didn't have it none of the lawsuits say that Elon Musk advocated for it in his guidebook or in his employee handbook or gave directives to his employees to conduct business that way. He has thousands, literally 100,000 employees. He does not run the shops that were being investigated. Directly does not run or man or supervise or manage the personnel directly who were in those lawsuits, who were alleged to discriminate or to conduct these types of actions that led to these lawsuits. So that's 1, 2, and like 3 points there. So it's very easy for him to slip the jab on that and sweep your legs and knock you off of your high horse. Because you're just smearing them with no facts. Yes, people that employed at Tesla did something bad they shouldn't have done, and hopefully those people get paid. Since we're talking about lawsuits, let's talk a little further about lawsuits. When I look at major lawsuits in corporations, now these are just major corporations. There are a number of corporations that have lawsuits on discrimination lawsuits. Several major companies have faced racial discrimination claims in recent years. This is just recent, resulting in lawsuit settlements and public scrutiny. Below are just some of the prominent examples based on available information. I'm not going to go in depth, I'm just going to give you the names. Walmart, General Electric, Tesla, McDonald's, Starbucks, Amazon, and Target. Everything you said about Tesla, you can say about these other companies. But you didn't. And then you act like, oh, I couldn't find any other companies that have had racial discrimination lawsuits that included segregation or whatever you said. And I found it just by doing an easy search. Because it's right there. To think you live in America. Like you're not in the Congo anymore. You're not in Guyana anymore, where your parents are from. You're in America. And in America, there's been a lot of discrimination. For you to even float and Don not correct your ass, no one corrects you. When you say, hey, I can't think of any other companies that have done, what? This is America. We were built on this shit. What are you talking about? What you mean you couldn't find any other companies where people discriminated against people? No, discriminated against Black people. And he noticed, folks, she could have talked about anybody type of discrimination. There are LGBTQIA discrimination going on. Particularly now, with the new DEI implementations that took place the last couple of years, there's been an uptick in discrimination lawsuits based on gender and orientation. She could have brought that up, but of course, why is Joy Reid going to Black? It ain't because she's a Black American, because she ain't. Why? Because she can't bring up discrimination or other things bad about Tesla. Why she have to go to Black people? Because that's the currency, as I pointed out before, they love to use. We are nothing more than a pawn for the Democrats to get money, to prove points, to stay in power, to use to their devices. So that's that, okay? These cases were settled without admitting fault, often agreeing to financial payouts, policy changes, or diversity initiatives to resolve the claims. Now let's go to segregation for $200, Jason. So in February 2025, as part of an executive order targeting regulations deemed burdensome or tied to DEI, the Trump administration eliminated the clause that covered segregation. It was within the DEI mandate. So when you got rid of the DEI mandate, that clause went with it because it was a part of that clause. The document This was documented in the General Services Administration, or GSA memo, on the federal level, okay, dated February 15, 2025. The move is framed as reducing federal overreach in cutting unnecessary regulations. It's not so much you can't rescind the Constitution. You can't rescind an amendment. You can't rescind civil rights. Trump doesn't have the authority to do that. But in the government contract level, since it's already covered as a civil right, if you are discriminated against, or you feel that you were discriminated against, you can still sue their asses. That has not gone away. It just means those people that are running federal contracts do not have to jump through all these hoops and complete all this paperwork. They can still be sued if you can prove you were discriminated against. It's the redundancy of already having laws on the book that charge or that prohibit discrimination on the basis of race, sex, orientation, gender, disability, veteran status, all these things, right? So that's already on the books. I understand why some people would just hear it and jump out the gym and say, he wiped away segregation. He wiped away our ability to be desegregated. That's not true. It's not true. You gotta look it up. It's been the same way where there was another thing that he did something else and people said, well, this means this. And it's like, well, it's already covered here. He can't get rid of it because he's not God. I know you think you say he is. I know that you say he thinks he's God or a king, but he is not. Therefore, he could not do that even if he wanted to. He ain't going to be able to undo the Constitution, Johnson. He's not going to be able to wipe out civil rights. It is what it is. Okay. Segregation remains illegal under the Civil Rights Act of 1964, specifically Title VII, which prohibits discrimination in employment, including facility access based on protected categories. Removal of the clause from federal contracts doesn't legalize segregation. It removes a contractual obligation for federal contractors to explicitly maintain non-segregated facilities. And when I read that, non-segregated facilities, like they don't have to go out their way to try to make sure that they're not excluding trans people. A lot of this is not even Black related, like a lot of the other things that I've been talking about with regards to DEI. This was rescinded because people like Joy Reid and Don Lemon been pushing LGBTQ, particularly trans issues, using Black people's pain and suffering and the historical legacy of discrimination to get all types of things done for trans communities, the trans community. And a lot of people disagree with that. Okay. And I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of trans people are not Black. There are a lot more trans people that are also white. So it's not just against Black trans, it's against white trans, all trans. So it's you coupling Black discrimination with trans discrimination or LGBTQ discrimination. And I've had people from the LGBTQ community write me and say, Tim Black, I'm glad that Trump has separated gender identity from orientation. Because similar to what Dave Chappelle said in his comedy special, LGBT community, the LGB community, that's it, was in a car going one way, and when the trans people got in the car, the TIA got in the car, the road got a lot longer and a lot harder. Because the Democrats do what they always do. They group everything together and say, we're all just one blob of people who are a protected class. So that's what caused this. That's what it was. Okay? Okay. While supporters see it as eliminating redundant red tape since broader laws still apply. Broader laws still apply. And we know that, right? So if your state eliminates a law, you know, if they erase a law off the books at the state level, but if it's covered under the federal level, it's still against the law. Sort of like my techie people know what I'm talking about. If there's a security measure that's implemented in your technology at the physical level, it'll apply to the root level. So it is what it is. The federal level, the civil rights takes precedence over any state or federal contract, whatever the hell, ordinance or whatever you're talking about. Okay, it's just what it is. You still cannot discriminate. It's not legal to discriminate. It's not legal to to segregate people based on race in any of these protected categories. And what Joy Reid is saying is just gaslighting. That's all it is. It's not based in fact. And if Don Lemon went along with it, makes it much worse. This is the type of lying shit she does on her show all the time. And that's why she no longer has a show. I'm upfront about my agenda. I'm upfront. I'm honest. You may disagree with my advocacy. You may say, Tim Black, you don't need to do this. Why are you separating black people? Well, because black people are in a precarious situation. You know, and that's my prerogative. But I'll fight for you too. I'm fighting for everybody, but I'm fighting for us more because we're hurt more. We're at the bottom. You're not. So that's how it works. And someone's got to do it. Somebody who can't be bought. That's what I'm doing. Okay, but I'm real upfront about me advocating, and I want to be. I tell you all the time, I'm a Democratic Party hater. I'm real open and honest. Anybody that tunes into the Tim Black Show, you need to know I'm a Democratic Party hater. See how I tell you what it is? Does Joy Reid and Don Lemon come out and tell you what they are? No, they don't. Would they ever say it? I'm honest. I say I'm a Democratic Party hater. I would help black people get out of the Democratic Party. It's a burning house. We gotta get free. Set us free. Set us free. That's it. That's what I'm doing. Why can't they be as honest? Why can't they be as real? Why can't they be transparent? Because what are they really doing? Caping for the Democrats and putting money in their pocket and lying and gaslighting like this whole night has been done by gaslighting by Don Lemon and Joy Reid. And if you want to lose a little hope in humanity, go read the comment section of people lapdogging and kissing their feet and saying how great it is and saying dumb shit like, what would be great if Roland Martin, Don Lemon, and Joy Reid all teamed up and created a network? Yeah, it would be great because that would be the most unwatchable network of lying-ass, shilling-ass corporate sellouts, black corporate sellouts, or black-looking corporate sellouts. And we all know what not to watch. But let's be real. Don Lemon and Joy Reid would never slum around with the likes of Roland Martin. Not for any extended period of time. So that's that. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's all I got. Now let's go to the comment section and see what is crack-a-lacking. What a night, Johnson. Black Mama, she started the night by gifting a membership to a member. Thank you, Black Mama, for your generosity, as well as the super sticker, as well as telling people to go buy a Tim Black mug. Man, I appreciate you, Black Mama. If I don't got nobody else, I got Black Mama in my corner. Thank you, sister. Give it up for her, y'all. And then following her is Megs. Megs gave somebody, a lucky person, a membership. Thank you, Megs, for doing what you always do. We appreciate you as well. And then I got the Trust No Party coming through with a super sticker. Thank you, Trust No Party. Yeah, that's my sentiment exactly. Stop trusting parties. Let's trust each other. Let's get the work done. But trust those that are fighting for you, not those that are fighting against you and fighting for themselves, fighting for their own wallets. This always is the worst thing about these people, you know what I'm saying, is that they're already rich. They're rich and they still can't keep it 100. Because you know what I realize? Even if you got $100 million, there's nothing you want more than another $100 million. Take that, take that, take that. All right, guys, I'm Tim Black. Thank you for tuning in. Go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the show. Go to Tim Black Pause and pick up cool merch from this show. Go to timblackmug.com and pick up a mug like this legacy mug from the Tim Black Show. Politics for the people, y'all. $20 to your door. timblackmug.com. I love you. I'm out. Like I always say, don't let anybody take your cornbread. I see you about to hand your cornbread to Joy Reid. I'm just going to come over and knock your cornbread out your hand. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to knock it to the ground. I'm going to step on it. Because you don't need it. And she don't need it. You don't even respect having your own cornbread. And as always, where are my ladies? Oh, there they go.